So we've laid out why it's really not the end of the world if the Niners bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. They can sell it. It makes sense. It's kind of it's a very conservative move, but it's not necessarily dumb. But let's look at the other way. If they bring this dude back and he gets hurt again or throws 15 picks again or basically just does the Jimmy stuff that the Niner fans and he have been kind of complaining about for years, does he get to keep using the Jimmy excuse? And I put that in all caps in the banner because we are now copywriting the phrase, the Jimmy excuse. It's always Jimmy's fault. It's never Kyle's fault. Bring him back year 5. Does the Jimmy excuse still work?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. At some point, you know, he's rode the fence with Jimmy Garoppolo, right? He's rode the fence since 2018. It's always been Kyle Shanahan has his reservations. Week 4, we always get the report from the first NFL insider that, you know, Kyle Shanahan is not fully convinced with Jimmy Garoppolo. They could move on this offseason. Week 8, we get it again from the next NFL insider. Then we get it again.
Word on the street is Kyle has some reservations.
Yeah.
Really?
Wow. And then everybody posted when they're watching film. Look at Kyle on this play. He put his hands up. Look, it's so adorable. Kyle Shanahan is being animated on the sideline with a negative connotation to his quarterback. Whoa, yay. As a fan, this makes me so happy.
It's just the proof we needed that Kyle doesn't like Jimmy. Everything about the 49ers is proof that Kyle doesn't like Jimmy. The way he calls his plays, the way he structures his offense, the things he says. I mean, you don't have to be, freaking a super sleuth to figure that one out.
Right. And he's so honest and transparent with his feelings and his body language where you can see that even when somebody asks him a question to try and compliment Jimmy, and it's something he doesn't believe should be a compliment to Jimmy, he goes, no, I don't think. I think all our quarterbacks can do that. I think all our guys can do that. We coach our guys to do that and stuff like that. He always responds like that. It's never, yeah, Jimmy's pretty good at that. Yeah, Jimmy does a great job doing that. So because of that, I think he's rode the fence, and he's kind of gotten that excuse from people like, oh, look at what he's doing with Jimmy. But at some point, you know, after a while, it's got to be, if he sticks with Jimmy Garoppolo, well, it can't be no longer Jimmy Garoppolo is like the problem, because you've had opportunities to move off of him. You've stuck by him, and I don't know what's going on with Grant.
Some guy's really mad I didn't answer his question. Ask it again. You don't have to pay. I'll find it. Ace Boogie 76 says Jimmy scapegoat.
Yeah, he's been scapegoated, and you know there are problems with Jimmy. That's why we outline them and give Kyle the excuse. But you know, there's a different way that I think that this entire situation could have been covered and could have been perceived that could have been negative to Kyle Shanahan. And I think that it's been good that it's been positive to him because I'm a huge fan. I'm a Stanahan. So I'm very happy that
we've talked about this before. In Washington, when the breakup happened between Shanahan and Robert Griffin, whose side of the McNabb? True. Let's focus with Griffin first, because I think there's a real carryover between him and Garoppolo. Whose side of the story got out in Washington?
Robert Griffin.
Whose side of the story gets out in San Francisco?
Kyle Shanahan.
What do you make of that?
I think that it's Kyle Shanahan understanding what happened to him in Washington and getting out in front of it a little bit.
Also, it's the different in the markets.
Yeah.
It's the Washington Post versus the Chronicle.
Right.
It's a very, very powerful media market over there. And the difference is when you don't have a powerful media market, you have a lot of people who are close with the team. Close with the team, not necessarily close with the players. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ultimately, I don't want to hear that. You know, if they stick with Jimmy, I'm okay with it. I think they can win with it. But the last thing I want is week 4, you know, 49ers aren't sure. Kyle Shanahan thinks he can do it with any quarterback, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to see that report. I don't want to see him ride the fence. I want him to be fully committed. And the other thing I wanted to say is I think that it's great that he's passionate and he shows emotion on the sidelines and stuff. But that kind of jumping up and down and throwing his hands up, you know, I've been watching football for 15, 16 years. I'm 21 years old, and I've seen it be covered, that kind of thing be looked at as a very bad thing with head coaches, where you have these media people. And I always looked at it as, well, he's doing something in the heat of the moment. Of course, he's going to have a lash of emotion, but people are like, look at him. Is that leadership? He's jumping up and down. Does he have control of his emotions? People ask questions like
Matt Patricia did that in Detroit, would people think that's cool? If Matt Nagy did that in Chicago, would people think that's cool?
see people ask those questions of those coaches, and I'm glad they're not asking those questions of Kyle Shanahan, because I think those questions in general are stupid. Because if you're passionate about something, you're stuck in the heat of moment, you're gonna have some sort of emotional lash out, and I hope you do, because to me that shows that you're passionate. And unfortunately for Kyle Shanahan, that narrative and that type of coverage hasn't come out. But I do think that it could be something that I think it's something he should be fortunate that hasn't happened to him, and ultimately hopefully he doesn't ride the fence if he sticks with Jimmy Garoppolo.